is it that the live action version of the cartoon was better than the cartoon for once? Like, where do I even begin with this movie? First off, if you're going in expecting a Scooby-Doo movie, with the classic, we gotta solve the mystery, we gotta figure out who the monster is, we're gonna unmask everyone with monsters, this is not it. The first 10 minutes got me, really excited, because the first 10 minutes are really, really good, because it shows kind of the origin story of the gang, of Mystery Inc., and how they solved their first mystery, and then the opening titles are literally just the Scooby-Doo Where Are You opening titles, but animated in the more CGI style. That was really good, and then it all goes downhill from there. Because there were two types of jokes in this movie. Jokes that were dated or will become dated, such as celebrity cameos in the movie that made absolutely no sense, like Simon Cowell. When has he been relevant since 2004? It feels like a movie that would have been put out by DreamWorks in 2004. And speaking of DreamWorks, it does have that kind of edgy adult humor that a lot of the early 2000s DreamWorks movies have. I mean, some of them still kind of have it, but back when DreamWorks first started, oh boy, those movies were edgy because they wanted to be the competitor to Disney, and this very much feels like that. There is innuendo. There's a part where there's a character called the Blue Falcon, and Shaggy tells him, hey, I know how we can do to defeat these monsters that are coming after, defeat these robots that are coming after us. We need to drop F-bombs, because that's the name of one of his weapons is Falcon Bombs, but he says, let's drop F-bombs. And then he says, we can't do that. This is a PG movie. I was absolutely just shocked at some of the jokes that they got away with in this movie. There's another joke, is Blue Falcon, he's kind of an idiot, right? So, he's he doesn't understand how the internet works, and there's a joke about how he thinks Tinder is an app that delivers you firewood, and all these jokes that were clearly for the adults, but they're super inappropriate for the kids. So, yeah, on top of that, like I said, it's not really a Scooby-Doo movie. There's so many other cameos from other Hanna-Barbera cartoons that I haven't even heard of. I didn't know who Blue Falcon was before this movie. I didn't know who Captain Caveman was before this movie. So it feels like they're trying to do the Marvel thing where they're setting up for a cinematic universe, a shared universe of Hanna-Barbera cartoons, but we're going to do it all in one movie. And you think Warner Brothers, who is the same studio that put out Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, would have learned by now, you don't set up for 20 movies in your one movie. There were a couple of jokes that I thought were funny. There was kind of funny about how some of the aspects of Scooby-Doo were a little bit dated. As far as oh yeah, it's like Shaggy. He was written by a middle-aged man who thinks teenagers sing a lot. Is how hippies talk. So some of that was funny, but most of the movie I was just this is bizarre. The plot is incredibly stupid. The jokes are incredibly inappropriate for a children's film. If you want to get your kids into Scooby-Doo, I'd recommend, besides obviously Scooby-Doo Where Are You, which is, the classic first ever Scooby-Doo cartoon, and that's the reason Scooby-Doo has lasted for over, 60 years now, and has such a big legacy. Other than that cartoon, I would say watch Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. If your kids aren't really into, the old-timey Scooby-Doo Where Are You with the laugh track and the cartoon and everything, if they're not really getting into that, but you kind of want to get them into Scooby-Doo, watch Mystery Incorporated, because that show is so good. Because it takes everything that was good about the original cartoon and modernizes it without it feeling like it's dated or trying to be trendy or being inappropriate like this one was. That was a great show. Watch Mystery Incorporated instead. This movie is not worth it. I give this movie a D, a 7 out of 10, 3 out of 5 stars. Scooby-Dooby, don't bother watching this movie.